Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Russell Westbrook versus James Harden, the MVP debate is on, and the Houston guard has something to say about what should be the most important factor. The Masters has a new champion in Sergio Garcia, as Skip and Shannon are both shocked that Sergio was able to hold on and win a green jacket after a career of major heartbreaks. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard checks in to tell us what happened to Shannon's Cavs last night in blowing a 26-point lead. Plus, former NFL coach Eric Mangini is here to say why we might be looking at a Tony Romo return. Finally, Shannon breaks down the brand that is Odell Beckham Jr. after another questionable action. Well, how was the weekend, guys?
Can I have a conversation with our host?
Yes, you can have any kind of conversation you want.
Jeez.
As inauthentic as it is, it's okay.
Why you think I'm fake all of a sudden?
I don't know, but I got to tell you, I thought about you a lot over the weekend.
I
thought
bet you did.
All Friday night as I watched, the Cavaliers lost to the Hawks on Friday night? And then I really thought about
Yeah, we about to get into it.
Let's do it.
Russell Westbrook broke the single-season triple-double record last night and hit a game-winning three-pointer against the Nuggets. Westbrook will also finish the season as just the second player ever to average a triple-double for the season. The other top MVP candidate, James Harden, also had a triple-double in the Rockets' win last night and gave his opinion on the MVP race. Let's take a listen.
Is team record something that matters to players?
I think that's the most important thing. I thought winning was what this was about, period. So I'm not going to get into depth with all that, but I thought winning was the most important thing. And, if you set your team up in a position to, have a chance at the ultimate goal, then that's the most important thing.
When Russ plays the way he plays with such a fury.
I do too. I just do it, at my own pace. I don't really, I'm a little smoother, just try to get the job done.
Well, Skippy called it that he was going to average a triple-double this season.
Thank you. My partner won't give me credit for that, but that's okay.
I'll give
Thank you, Joy.
You're going to be 50%, right?
50% how?
Yeah, because he's not going to win MVP.
He's not going to win MVP after yesterday? Are you kidding me? Do you have a vote? If you have a vote, I might be in trouble.
Go ahead and make your little case.
Make my little case.
Does Harden have a point that wins should be the biggest factor?
Okay, I'm going to give James Harden this one. Let's prioritize wins in the MVP race. My San Antonio Spurs had only one All-Star this year. Only one. A lot of spare parts, mix and match. One All-Star. But wait a second. They have 61 wins to Houston's 54. So that's 7 more wins. So obviously, Kawhi is a much better all-around player than James Harden. So Kawhi's the runaway MVP. Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, because Russell Westbrook is the runaway MVP, because you've thrown turnovers at me. Let's go to turnovers real quick. James Harden is averaging 5.8 turnovers per game. Guess what? Russell Westbrook is only 5.4. So that's a total for James Harden this year of 455 turnovers. Wait a second. Russell Westbrook is only 435. So James Harden has 20 more turnovers. And let's be honest about this. James Harden, which he did not bring up in the soundbite we just saw, plays in the Mike D'Antoni system that helped Steve Nash win back-to-back MVPs.
Did you know why? Those numbers?
Threes. Guess what? Houston has made 110 more three-point shots than any other team. Your Cavaliers are second on that list. 110 more threes. Give James Harden easy assists. Wide open three, wide open, because they kick it all over the place, and they get wide open threes, and they got snipers everywhere, including Eric Gordon, often coming off the bench to snipe. So don't start with me about systems, because Russell Westbrook is a one-man show.
You just said system.
Huh?
You just said it's the system.
I didn't say it's. I mean,
you just said it's.
He's in a system that'll win you an MVP, but Russell Westbrook is in a one-man show system. It's all they have. And speaking of wins, for them to have as many wins as they have is stunning to me, and it was capped off yesterday. They're 14 points down at Denver to a pretty good team that won by 32 against Golden State. Remember that?
And beat LeBron by 20.
Yeah, that's correct. 5:56 left. At that point in the fourth quarter, Russell Westbrook had scored 0 points. From that point, the last 5:56 of that game, he scored 18 points. He hits a walk-off three, not from the three-point line, which is about 24 feet. He hit it from 36 feet. It's beyond comprehension how good that shot was. And it's also beyond comprehension. He has turned himself into a very good three-point shooter. He was a 29% three-point shooter last year. All of a sudden, he's up to 34.4 because he has been on a hot streak over the last 7 games. He's shooting 41% from three when they needed him to do it, to carry them, to save them. He's at shot after walk-off shot after walk-off shot. And now, wait a second, James Harden is shooting only 34.6 from three to 34.4 for Russell. So Russell's almost caught him in the three-point race.
But is it?
Wow.
Okay, almost. But is 34.4 or 34.6 better?
Well, it's 2 ticks better. But again, everybody thinks that James Harden's a way better three-point shooter, and he's not. Not anymore.
But here's the thing. Just a moment ago when you went to turnovers, you said James Harden is averaging 5.6 and Russell Westbrook 5.8, and Russell
5.8 to 5.4.
Okay.
Okay, but he's not. But you portray Russell Westbrook as this turnover disaster. You know, like it's just night after. And by the way, James Harden, right before he spoke those words, he had 10 turnovers against Sacramento yesterday.
Okay. No, Skip, I'm still sticking with James Harden because I think the thing is when you look at it, you look at this. James Harden has 30 games in which he's accounted for 60 points. Russell Westbrook has 27. So that does not account for something?
No, doesn't account for anything.
Somehow I figured. Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they're very close. Harden averages assisting on it for him and his teammates, 56 points per game. Russell, 55 points per game. Not Harden.
3. Okay?
Harden has a better three-point percentage, a better field goal percentage, a better free throw percentage. Not for James Harden. Russell Westbrook has shot the ball 420 times more than James Harden. But I'm going to take it a step.
He has to. He needs to.
Hold on, Skip. See, when you was talking, I ain't even interrupt. I sit up here just like.
I think he interrupted me about 3 times, but go ahead. It's okay.
Russell Westbrook has shot the ball 1,000 more times than the next closest player on his team. The last person
on his team, yes.
The last person to do that was who, Skip?
We got
Sniff.
Sniff tell.
Oh, that was Kobe.
Kobe
did it. That was the year Kobe averaged 35 points a game.
So you're comparing Russ to Kobe. I like it. Go ahead. Keep going.
That was the year Kobe averaged 35 points a game. They were the 7th seed. They went home in the first round. Skip, the thing is that we like nice round numbers. 30, 10, and 10 sounds better. But when you break it down, James Harden is accounting for more points, although he doesn't have those nice round numbers. He's accounting for more points than the triple-double man himself. Skip, Russell is having an all-time great season. And there was no doubt in my mind. I said, you know, when he put that ball up, I said, you watch this ball go in. And that's what happens. Sometimes when you have a transcendent season, no matter what, we've seen him miss some of those shots a lot easier. But I also saw Friday night where he was actually trying to get that triple-double. He was passing up wide open threes, wide open jump shots.
I agree.
But this is what...
Trying to set a record. It's an unbreakable.
What about winning? What about that winning record?
56-game hitting streak record. It's like impossible to get 42 triple doubles in a season.
This is why I'm out on Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook leads the NBA on missed free throws, rebounding. Not Hassan Whiteside a big, not Andre Drummond a big, not Anthony Davis or Boogie Cousins.
Yep.
Because you know why, Skip? Tell the fans at home why, Skip.
Well, you already know.
I don't know, Skip. I don't know. I forgot. I forgot.
Sniff and tell them.
No, I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah.
Because Adams and Cantor and Taj Gibson, they block their guys out, and they don't even try to get the. Look at this, Skip. Really? Really? Is that what we are right now?
You got one piece of video you keep going back to.
What about that right there, Skip?
You know, one piece of video, one rebound.
What about this, Skip?
Here's what you're missing.
Skip, that was in the first quarter.
He's a better rebounder than those other guys. I would want him under there, too, because nobody attacks and goes after the basketball the way Russell Westbrook does.
Can I ask you a question? So
no, you can't.
I just want to ask you one question, Skip. Who do you give credit to for the decline of the way Steven Adams has played?
Steven Adams?
Hold on, what about the point guard?
I thought he was turned into a starter in the playoffs last year, but I don't recognize him anymore.
But look at James Harden. Now, Steven Adams was a lottery pick. Oladipo was a lottery pick. Sabonis was a lottery pick. I mean, Eric Gordon.
Have you watched Sabonis?
Hold on, Skip.
You don't think he's a liability? You ought to check it out. I watch every game. It's must see.
Eric Gordon's on his third team. Ryan Anderson on his 15.
Oh, can they shoot it?
Lou Williams on his.
They found the perfect system that fits their game because the previous systems did not.
Think about this here, Skip. Both Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon was free agents. They were at the Pelicans. And the Pelicans said, no, thank you.
Well, they didn't fit what they do.
Oh, they can fit. No. But you know why? And James Harden, Skip, nobody thought James Harden could do that. Everybody says he's Carmelo Anthony. He's a ball stopper. He's not going to pass the ball to anyone. And lo and behold, something happened this year. He's leading the NBA in assists. I know, look, Steve Nash won 2 MVPs, but he didn't put up those numbers.
Well, Russell Westbrook is putting up unheard of numbers at an unheard of pace and
unheard
rate.
of shots, too.
Well, and guess who's played in all 80 games for the Oklahoma City Thunder? Russell Westbrook. He's played in 80 straight games out of the 82 that they play, and they have 2 left. That's pretty great. You know why? He's having the greatest individual season of any player ever in NBA history. Just one individual season, he's got it. He's got it for me.
You know,
and I'm pretty hard to please.
And you know what? Since he's played in all 80 games, I'm sending him a case of Girl Scout cookies because he should be commended. He should play. He's only 20. How old is he, Skip?
What is he, 20?
27?
I don't know.
How about this here? When he goes to 6 straight finals and he plays in 2 Olympics, I want you to call me.
Oh, okay.
He's 28.
28.
So that's what I want you to do, Skip.
So what I loved was he was obviously fueled from the tip this year by Kevin Durant leaving and going to Golden State and trying to leave him high and dry. And guess what? He's high into the playoffs because he is the 6th seed. I thought he could finish 4th, but he's just a little bit out of there. And he beat the 4 seed, as we speak, Utah, 3 times.
No, the 4th seed now is the Clippers.
Well, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
They're tied.
But here, what did I tell you?
Guess what? Russell Westbrook has beaten the Clippers twice this year. That's pretty great.
Are you going to give me any credit for telling you what seed Russell will finish in?
Nope.
Why?
Because it's close. It just fell out at the end of the year. It's very close.
I told you, Skip, they were never in anything. They were never in the 5th. They were never in the 4th. I said they would be 6th or worse.
Okay. How many great wins did they have? I mean, great wins. Did they beat San Antonio?
Yes.
Did they beat Cleveland?
Yep.
Did they beat Houston?
Yep.
Did they beat the Celtics twice? Yep. Utah 3 times, Memphis twice, Clippers twice. You want me to continue?
And all
they beat the Wizards, they beat the Raptors.
So they should be the 1 seed.
Wow.
They should be the 1 seed.
That's pretty great. And by the way, if you throw in these second-level numbers, I know your guys back there doing this. Is it Steve Owens today?
No.
Heisman. He won the Heisman. Nope. Now he's trying to win the MVP, right?
Me and Steve had to patch up our relationship. You know, he went to Gonzaga.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little dicey. I'm a Tar Heel fan, but we patched it up. We've made amends, and we're great now.
Well, how about these numbers for Steve Owens? Ask him about this. Ask him who's ahead in PER, which is the single most telling stat in all of basketball. Player efficiency rating. Russell Westbrook, 31, and James Harden, 27. That's a huge gap. That's 4 points lower. I can go down the list. How about estimated wins added? Wait, Russell Westbrook is at 28 to James Harden's 24. I can do value added, points added to a season in place of an average player. Russell Westbrook's nearly 100 points ahead of James Harden. Are you kidding me? What else do you want? It's over.
All I know is
you're the last holdout.
James Harden and the Houston Rockets are 8 games better than Russell Westbrook and the OKC Thunder. Now, all these nice round numbers, 31, 10, and 10, that sounds good. But at the end of the day, 29, 11.5, and 8.8 sounds good to me because I'm the 3rd seed. I tell you what, this is what should happen. Whoever wins, because they're going to be matched up, whoever wins this series, that should be the MVP.
Oh, well, Houston's going to have home court.
That ain't my fault.
You're going way out on that.
Hold on.
I'm impressed. That took guts.
How many games did the OKC Thunder play this year? They'll play 82. The Houston Rockets will play 82. 41 home, 41 road. Correct?
Okay.
Didn't they have a chance to get that 3rd seed?
So are you making a case for Kawhi Leonard being MVP?
No.
Why not?
Because Kawhi don't rebound and he doesn't assist the basketball.
He doesn't rebound. He does when they need him to.
Oh,
he's the best all-around player in basketball. He's better than LeBron James. Plays defense better than LeBron. If LeBron was the defender you're talking about, Cleveland would have a D in it, and you told me they play horrible defense. They've been playing horrible all year. So LeBron has quit playing defense. So the best defender, wait a minute, it must be Kawhi Leonard as a two-way player, offense, defense. So if his team won
LeBron
61 and
James.
he was the only All-Star?
LeBron
right?
James is about to average 13 consecutive seasons, 25 points. Name the NBA player in the 70-year history can say that. Not Michael Jordan, not Wilt, not Kareem, not Magic, not Larry.
What's Cleveland's record in its last 44 games?
They're the number 1 seed in the East.
23 and 21.
All that being
Horrendous.
said, all
Scary.
that being
question.
said, guess what, Skip? Number 1 seed in the East.
Well, they are at the moment.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not sure that's going to last.
They're coming out.
Well, it's been an amazing season by Russell Westbrook, and a good job by you calling that he was
Thank
going
you.
to
I
average
appreciate
that.
that.
And we'll get to see him go up against Harden. The Rockets and Thunder are locked in the first-round matchup.
No mercy.
The Cavs blew a 26-point lead heading into the fourth quarter and lost to the Hawks for the second straight game last night in overtime. LeBron James had a triple-double with 32 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists in the loss. There was also controversy with the officiating. With under 5 seconds left in the fourth, LeBron tried to call a timeout after the inbounds pass, but referee Leroy Richardson didn't allow it. The Hawks tied Kyrie Irving up for a jump ball, even though Kent Bazemore's foot was out of bounds. After the jump, Paul Millsap hit the game-tying jumper to send the game into overtime.
JR,
After
what
the
are you
game,
doing?
Kyrie and LeBron talked about the officiating. Let's take a listen.
He told me that I'm not allowed to call timeout because he didn't know who had possession of the ball. And I was the one who entered the ball to Kyrie. And as soon as I seen Millsap go trap Kyrie in the short corner, I looked at him and called timeout twice, at least twice. And he wasn't even paying me no attention. You know, and that's when the jump ball happened. I said, why? He said, I can't call timeout because I don't know who has the possession of the ball. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the tie-up. I said, that doesn't make any sense. We have the ball because I entered the ball to Kyrie, so you shouldn't even be worried about the tie-up or not. I'm calling as soon as I see Kyrie is getting tied up in the corner. So I've never heard that before. I've never heard that explanation before in my life.
How much is the fine for talking about the refs? Is it like 50, 25? Not worth it. Not worth it. So sorry. I had some good conversation with the refs, and just a few plays that didn't go our way. That's not the kind of the first step that led to the breakdown of what happened in that fourth quarter and why it extended the game. Obviously, there were some things that could have gone a different way, but it didn't. And now we just gotta move on from here.
We're joined by Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Good to be here.
Chris.
Morning. Who's
Wish
the
it was
most
under better circumstances.
better circumstances?
Yeah, me too.
I think these are great circumstances.
Look at those Skip. Look at him. Who Kiki? Oh, he over there Kiki.
Skip is hyped.
He's like, yeah, I love it. I love to
I
see.
can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
Who's the most to blame
You
for
know
last
I don't wear the
night's
pom-poms. You know that.
collapse?
I'm objective. To these two, if it snows tonight in Cleveland, it's LeBron's fault.
Yeah.
But he does deserve some blame for this. The blame, anytime you blow a 26-point lead, it's on the players and the head coach. It's on the players and the head coach. Ty Lue he's gotten a pass for this whole slide. You've been
It's his
talking
fault.
about.
It's his
No, it's not just his fault.
Okay.
I'm just saying he's getting a pass.
All right, that's
You
fair.
rarely hear anybody criticize him for how atrocious their defense is. For some of the
I
rotations.
heard him do it to start the show, but go ahead.
He's one.
No.
But rarely you hear people doing it. And I'm not trying to put it all on him. I'm just saying that's a factor. I'm saying the bench is a factor. Shumpert, -23. He's got to bring it. He's got to play better. I've talked about them losing their identity, and them getting soft. And Darren Williams hasn't shown up. And LeBron hasn't shown up. The triple-double was great.
Wait, you just said he hasn't shown up?
Well, and down the stretch.
Okay,
The
thank you.
triple-double was great. But he made some bad decisions. We talked before the show. Should have hit Corver with, 8 seconds left?
Yes.
All that said, who blames for losing the game? The players lost it. The Tyrone lost it. But if the refs don't blow that call, there's still a 95% chance that the Cavs win. And I'm talking about Kent Bazemore and Millsap as well, both being out of bounds.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to deflect blame from the players and Ty Lue. But if we talk about who would have won the game, that blown call, I think, blew the game because then you don't have a jump ball. Millsap doesn't hit the shot, and JR was terrible on that play, not hustling.
Yes.
And the Cavs would not have felt good about that win.
No.
because they had blown such a big lead. But still, they do win the game if the refs don't blow that call. LeBron fouling out the 6th foul was a bad call. But by that point, they had lost the momentum. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying we can't – the refs – it was a terrible call.
Yes.
It was a missed call.
But the refs' call shouldn't have had no impact on this ball game. When you're up 26 points and you got Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, the refs should – you don't even need refs at this point. Just play the game. They got careless. Ty Lue, for whatever reason. See, for me, I would like to see Ty Lue go ahead. They're up 26 points. Come back with LeBron and Kyrie and try to push it to 30, 35. And
well, LeBron started the fourth.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, he played the
whole fourth.
He played the whole fourth.
12, yeah.
And then Darren Williams come in. He's in a little over 3 minutes, he's a -11. Shumpert. And then next thing you know, you're giving them momentum. They had 14 total turnovers. They had 7 in the fourth quarter. The Hawks assisted on every made basket. They made 14 made baskets. They assisted on all of them. What? You're plus 30 from the three-point line. Normally, a team that's plus 30 in three-point skip, you win that game going away. But when you don't play defense, and next thing you know, they're getting layups, you're turning it over, you're coming away with empty possessions, you're fouling, you're stopping the clock, and the next thing you know, this is what happens. But Ty Lue, you're supposed to be the defensive guru. But let me tell you what's happened. Nobody said this. Ty Lue's getting the pass from coming down from 3-1 to Golden State. Now, okay, you might get a pass this year, but you don't get to have that forever, not for perpetuity. Now, ask yourself this. If Greg Popovich had this roster, because they're more talented than San Antonio, how many games would they lose in the East? They might break the record. They might go 74-8. So, Ty Lue, you need to get it together, bro. That defense, Kevin Love is 15 of 46 in his last 3 games. The bench got outscored by 34 and 28 in their last 2 games. And that's the problem.
I'd like to see a little more Derek Williams. Because when he was playing well before Darren came over.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of times when Darren's in the game, LeBron's still handling the ball anyway. So let LeBron play with Derek and see if you get, you know, some better production there.
Okay. I hear what you say about Ty Lue. Point taken.
And again, I'm not saying he's the sole reason.
I got it.
Yeah.
I hear what you say about Shumpert, JR, and Darren Williams, and on and on and on. But in the end,
the refs,
and the referees. But when you get outscored in the fourth quarter as the defending NBA champion, as you're trying to come back together and get it all back on track, you get outscored 44-18 in the fourth quarter. You gave up 44 points to a not very good Atlanta team with 2 of the starters yanked from the game because Budenholzer just didn't like their body language and their effort. And he just said, Dwight, you're out. Schroeder, sorry. I'm going to go with the backups.
Skip.
Muscala's in there making threes, right?
The Cavs held the Hawks in 36 minutes to 67 points. They gave up 59 in 17 minutes.
Okay, so in the end, the best player on the planet deserves a majority of the blame.
Yes.
I'm sorry, somebody at this desk is going to have to be objective about LeBron James, and I'm going to be objective. I'm going to be objective.
I'm not trying to absolve him.
No. Well, okay, but
he got a 5-second call.
Okay, and you know what?
Now let me ask you about the 5-second call. That's on LeBron, but it's on the whole team. Because was anybody open?
I got it, but when you are the best passer in basketball,
he's not the best passer.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
not.
He is.
Now I'm fighting for LeBron over here.
He's not the best passer.
He is too. He's the most gifted passer.
There are several point guards better passers.
No, you're wrong.
He's not.
He's the best
you compare him to
Magic.
He's not a Magic Johnson type passer.
He is too. He pulls off one pass a night where I say, wow.
He's a very good passer.
It's a gift.
He's just not the best in the league. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he is. So I'm going to use this to say, wait a second. You've got to get the ball in bounds with 18 seconds left, and you're up 4 points in Atlanta, and you're being threatened to blow a 26-point lead. It's up to the best player on the planet, a player you already have on Mount Rushmore, to figure out how to get the ball in bounds.
If you throw it away and they get a breakaway layup, that's worse than a 5-second call.
Yeah.
Because at least you get to defend on a 5-second call. Possession goes to the Hawks. At least you get to defend.
Okay, so I've been
you
objective.
don't just throw it in.
I've been objective about that, and you guys haven't. But let's go to the next point. So then 5 seconds pass, 13 seconds left. Paul Millsap goes up to shoot a 3-point shot. He's not the most devastating 3-point shooter in the league.
Yeah.
And LeBron runs at him and hand fouls him, fingertips to fingertips, and it was clearly a foul. And LeBron was livid at Tristan Thompson a week ago for fouling Paul George in a similar manner, right? Yep. That was a 2-point shot.
Not guarding.
Yeah, right.
Not
yeah,
guarding.
Coming off. But again, he fouled him. But this is 3 free throws, and to Paul Millsap's credit, he stepped right to the line and went boom, 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 and all of a sudden we got a basketball game. And right out of that, LeBron has to once again inbound the ball, and I thought it was a bad idea pass, and you said it. Yeah. You got to get the ball to Kyle Korver because Kyrie doesn't even think he's getting the ball. He is. Well, that's true. But Kyrie's.
I don't think
they're both great.
I don't think Bron saw him because the guy that Terrence Smith, I think is his last name.
Yeah.
Prince. Yeah. He left to go try and trap Kyrie.
They were trapping Kyrie, and Kyrie's like, I'm out, and he starts to turn up court, and the ball is behind him.
Yes.
And then I disagreed with LeBron's take on the referee. The ball is still up for grabs. It's in nobody's possession, and Kyrie doesn't have complete control of the basketball, and the referee's trying to figure out who's got it. Well, he can't call time and save LeBron from a bad pass, so that's unfair. That's just wrong.
Yeah, that's questionable. You're right.
Okay.
I agree.
But look at Kyle Korver. That's Kyle Korver standing right there in front of LeBron. LeBron panicked.
I mean, that was a terrible pass.
And you remember in overtime, what was that, an overtime, Skip, when Kevin Love threw the ball in the backcourt?
It was just a terrible idea. And again, they're on the wrong page. He thinks Kyrie's going to break back, and Kyrie's going the other way, and all of a sudden you just get, although baseball.
He walked.
He lost control of the ball in the air, and he just barely got it up over the rim, and it kind of rolled around and went in. It could have been the ultimate blown layup at that point. But I get you. The refs missed the call on foot out of bounds, foot out of bounds. The whole overtime was a referee disaster of miscall upon miscall, and they're trying to – I think it was a makeup call to give LeBron his 6th foul because it was phantom. I didn't see it. Yeah. Okay, big picture. This is just me. Curious to see how you'd react to this. Friday night's game ended with LeBron either taking himself out or Ty Lue said, that's enough. So they're down, whatever it was, 14. They lose 114-100. And LeBron fails to go straight to the bench. He decides to go sit on his tailbone on the baseline, just sit down. And to me, the body language is so bad because it's indicating, I don't really want to sit with you guys because I don't want to associate with that mess and that embarrassment out on the floor. And if I'm his teammate, I'm like, well, heck with you then. Maybe we don't win and lose together. Okay, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one to read. I mean, sometimes if you're just so frustrated and you don't want to say the wrong thing to a teammate, maybe I get what you're saying. I think LeBron set a bad tone in some ways. Mm-hmm. I even think they just opened up a roster spot yesterday for another player, maybe. Enough of let's go get some more help. I mean, who's out there really?
I say Vergel,
and that's where I say LeBron may have set a bad tone by continuously, we need somebody else. We need somebody. Just go with what you got. You're the best player in the world. You got Kyrie Irving. You got Kevin. Go with what you have. And that's what I mean by a tone. Like, Anderson Vergel, okay, is he really going to help that much? Like, we've seen Darren, and, it's just, that's a bad tone.
The thing is that when LeBron said after the loss to the Pelicans that they're top-heavy, he was counting on Kevin Love being a 20-10 guy. Now, Kevin is still getting his rebounds, but he's been shooting horrible from the floor.
But he has these
That's
stretches.
What he is, yeah.
He's that guy.
Up and down.
Yeah, he was in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but we need him to be up more so than down.
We do. We, right? You're a we. Yeah, it's okay.
Look, come Sunday, when we have to do what we got to do to the Heat or the Bulls, all will be forgotten.
It's like French, right? Lebrun and Le Shannon. It's French. We.
You laughing now. But when Unc and LeBron, 7 games, you already know what's going to happen, Skip.
You know what? I'm not sure what's going to happen because now we have Cavs at Heat tonight. And now we have Dion Waiters upgraded to questionable. At least he's starting to come back. They were 8 games over 500 with him. They're 10 games under without him.
You know what I want Ty Lue to do? I want him to rest. I want him to rest Kyrie and LeBron for the next 2 games.
Okay.
Get the 2 spot. Really? Just show so we can bash your head in, Skip.
I'm not sure who's going to wind up if they're in the 2. I don't know who's going to. Will it be Indiana? I'm not sure about that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No.
What if it's the Bulls? And what if D. Wade's back?
So what's your percentage now that the Cavs will win the East?
I think the first round, if it's either Heat or Bulls, is going to take 6 or 7 games, and I didn't see that coming. So it's going to take a lot more out of them than I thought. And from round to round, if it's, I don't know, if it's Toronto, if it's Boston, I think Boston might be for them the easiest of those foes. Yes. Seriously.
Yep.
Psychological, you know. You got the Heat, you got Wade.
The King played 52 minutes. He came back, bust up the Celtics.
Yeah.
He played 47 minutes last night. Watch him come back, get another triple-dub. He get these triple-dubs.
If you're up by 26 points going into the fourth quarter, you really shouldn't be talking about referees.
No, absolutely
but there were some terrible calls.
There were terrible
calls.
calls.
But it shouldn't come down to that if you're up by 26 points going into the fourth quarter.
Over the last 44 Cavalier games, their record is what? What?
You got jokes, huh?
I got jokes. 23 and 21. Does that sound like a defending champ on a roll toward another?
Are you at the Laugh Factory this weekend?
No mercy. Let's talk Tony Romo. The former Cowboys quarterback announced last week that he is leaving football to go into broadcasting at CBS. Romo's former teammate, safety Barry Church, says he was, quote, really shocked about the news, but he didn't rule out a possible return for Romo. Church said, knowing him, I would give that a 60% chance that he would step out of the broadcast booth and come back to the field. Right now, he's thinking, man, I've played 14 years, been injured and all that stuff. I think I'm just going to call it a day. But that competitive itch you get from playing football, it doesn't go away. I think it just heightens more once you leave the game. I think that itch might get to him. I'm joined by former NFL head coach Eric Mangini. Welcome back, Eric.
Hey, good to be back.
Good to see you.
A little strange being out here without Rob.
I know.
I don't know what to do.
You think you can handle it?
Yeah, I think I can. I'm ready.
Do you agree with Barry Church?
Yeah, I think the number is actually higher than that. I think that.
Wow.
I don't know how you go from saying I want to be a starter, I want to play, I'm healthy, I'm ready, to I'm not going to play at all. And he's going to sit in the booth and he's going to watch a ton of average quarterback play and realize that his window to be a quarterback is right now. And closing quickly, his window to be a broadcaster goes for a very long time. And a situation like Oakland last year could come up, or we don't even know which team it's going to be.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen. And he didn't retire. He hasn't put in his retirement papers. He just leveraged the CBS deal to get out of his Dallas deal, and now he can go wherever he wants. I don't even know why they had to go through the mechanics of that. He could have retired in Dallas and gone to CBS.
Well, I said there's a 1% chance. So
1%?
One. But here's the thing, though. Jerry said Tony had a lot of options. Jerry only gave Tony one option, that was to retire. Because think about the last game they played. After they lost to the Green Bay Packers, Skip, what did Jerry Jones say after the game? All those plays you saw Aaron Rodgers make, my quarterback, Tony Romo, can make those exact same plays. You ought to see him in the scout team. He's throwing the ball up and down the field. He's looking good at any quarterback. As you mentioned, Coach, Tony said, I'm healthy. I want to play. But it became very clear, Skip, I believe there was a do-right rule. I believe Jerry and Tony had a conversation on Tuesday. Jerry says, I'm going to release you. All I'm asking you is to do right by me and not go to Washington. Tony releases a statement on Wednesday saying, thank you, Cowboys fans, for being supportive, but my time is up. Thursday, the Texans trade Brock Osweiler. Jerry's like, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all traded that? I got Tony Romo, and y'all want me to give him away? Look, I'm not finna give him away. And this is where Jerry doubled down. He says this thing might linger on into a training camp, into training camp.
Yep.
With that being said, Tony's like, hold on, wait a minute. They got the draft coming up. There are 4 or 5 quarterbacks that could possibly be first rounder. We know they're going to take at least 4 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. Training camp, into training camp. How am I supposed to learn the offense, get my rhythm and timing down with receivers if this thing goes on? So Jerry left him no choice but to retire. Jerry said Tony had a bunch of options. No, he didn't, Skip. He only had one option. And then once Jerry says, okay, you going to CBS, I'll release you now. He could have did that. Free agency started on a Thursday.
Sure.
He could have did that day. But he didn't want someone to get Tony for nothing.
Right.
And so that's why he held on to him and threatened to let it linger, because the word he loved to use is ambiguity.
Why did he let him go? He didn't have to let him go. Tony could have retired and gone to CBS and still been a Dallas Cowboy.
Yeah.
I think he leveraged the CBS deal to get his freedom. Now he can talk to whoever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. There's no reason you had to go through this.
Officially released him because he thought he had already signed with CBS. So it was they weren't mutually exclusive. He just said, well, looks like I can go ahead and release him now because he's no threat to me because he's signed, sealed, and delivered with CBS.
And designate him as the June 2nd roster release so he can get $14 million this year and the rest the following year.
But you still have to carry his salary cap into June 2nd, so why not let the draft play out? Why not just let him be a Dallas Cowboy? And, you know, I think Tony actually did a smart thing by saying, okay, I'm going to CBS. Now he has his freedom. Now he can talk to anybody he wants to. He's in a situation where he wants to, I would imagine he wants a little bit of love. He wants to feel wanted. And the only team that could do that was a broadcast team. So the team that did it, he signed with. But he's going to, this window is, he's got a tremendous opportunity to still win a lot of football games. And I don't know how long he's going to sit in that booth watching a bunch of other guys that can't play nearly as good as him before he's like, this is crazy. I got to go back and give this a shot.
Okay, so my big picture fear was from the start that Jerry, because Jerry truly believes he's still capable of winning a Super Bowl, was going to hang on to him in a way that you predicted he would, or you said that he should. About, I don't know, 3 months ago, you were saying, why not just keep him? You need 2 quarterbacks. What if Dak struggles? What if he gets hurt? God forbid. But, right, that was your point. You should just keep him because he still fits barely under the cap because Dak makes so little money. So I started thinking, wow, they're going to compete for the job in the preseason. And if Jerry has any say about it or has his 2 cents here and the buck stops on his desk, then maybe Tony's just going to win back the job in the preseason and be the game 1 starter. That was my fear. Now, I believe in Dak Prescott more than a lot of people do, and I think he's both the present and the future. So I'm totally content going forward with Dak Prescott. But I must admit, and I expressed to Shannon when the news broke, what was it, last Tuesday or whatever it was, I was shocked by it because, wait, Tony Romo just walked completely away from football with all that unfinished business, and all I've heard for the last month is he is lighting it up on the scout team in ways that like Barry Church's point was, he's throwing the ball better now than he ever has before. Well, wait a second. You've had all these, really 2 full years to heal yourself, so as healed as he can be, is he about that? Is he about as healthy as he can be right now? So I get you on that. So the do-right rule came into play where they're saying, okay, I'm going to protect you, but you protect me. And I think Tony thinks that Jerry finally violated the do-right rule because he wouldn't let him go. He was holding him hostage until no jobs were going to be left. He was going to force Houston to go get somebody else or just say, we're going forward with Tom Savage. He was going to force John Elway to say, you know what, I'm going to go forward with Trevor Siemian or maybe Paxton Lynch. Okay, so now is the dicey period because if you're right, if there's an 80% chance, it's not going to happen next fall to me because this isn't walking away from just some broadcasting booth. This is one of the plum jobs in broadcasting. This is the #1 analyst alongside Jim Nantz at CBS.
Only 3 of them.
But look, I've heard that this is a unique opportunity.
Well, it is.
But Phil Simms was under contract. It's not that unique. It's not like Phil Simms said, hey, I'm going to retire. They created a spot for Tony Romo, so they can create that spot next year, or a different network can create that spot next year. He can't play quarterback indefinitely. He can play quarterback right now. So granted, it's a great...
CBS is not going to be real happy if he suddenly walks out from under them.
I know, but the idea that this is a unique situation, it's not that unique. They had someone under contract that they moved to create space for Tony Romo.
Okay, but
what's unique is his ability to play football right now.
I think also what hurt Tony, Skip, is that when they released Peyton Manning, teams were sending their private jets to come get Peyton Manning.
They were.
Tennessee Titans, the Denver Broncos, the Arizona Cardinals.
He had a tour over
Everybody wanted him. See, I think the thing that's weighing in Tony's mind right now is that if you played this game and you left no stone unturned in your preparation, I've lifted all the weights that I could. I've stretched. I've eaten the way I should. You don't have a regret. See, Tony has regret. He's like, what if I just dedicate myself one more time? You see Tom Brady? When Tom Brady retires, he will have no regret. When Drew Brees retires, he will have no regrets. You hear these quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers says, Tom Brady is my inspiration. Whatever he's doing, I need to start doing that. Tony has regret because he realizes I squandered a lot of this. Instead of playing golf, I should have been training. I should have been eating properly. But he has regret. And anytime you have regret, when that urge hits,
Okay, so why wouldn't Tony right now, I told you this last week, if he wants to do by the do wrong rule to Jerry, if he wants to get even for Jerry holding him hostage, why wouldn't right now he just pick up the phone and call Bob McNair in Houston and say, hey, guess what? I'm a free agent. You guys interested? Well, didn't you sign with CBS? Yeah, but I could get out from under that. I'll just tell him that I made the wrong choice, right?
Because I don't think I think he wants to be recruited. I think he wants to be loved. I think he wants to go to a place that he feels like he's going to be a part of that team that year. And unless that happens, he is part of a team. He's part of CBS's team right now. But I don't think it's going to take very much to go
to entice him back.
To get him back. And for all the reasons that you said, there are probably some regrets over the course of his career, and he's got a chance to do that. The great thing about the NFL is every Sunday you have a chance for redemption. Mm-hmm. So he's got that chance right now to go rewrite the end of this script. But it's going to take a little bit of coaching, a little bit of love, a little bit of an opportunity. And maybe it doesn't happen right now. And maybe it doesn't happen in training camp. But we get towards the end of the season, and you're looking at an Oakland deal, or maybe Tom Brady gets hurt and he goes and he leads the Patriots. Or maybe, Dak. Now, in his perfect world, it's probably Dak gets hurt and he gets to go back to the Cowboys. And
you want him back now, Skip?
I don't want him back.
You're going to want him back if that happens. Okay, that I promise.
But I thought Bob McNair made a very profound point about Jerry Jones. This is back before Romo retired, suddenly and walked away and went to CBS.
Correct.
But Bob McNair made the point that Jerry Jones can't risk to give Tony away to Houston or Denver, whoever, the Jets, whoever it might be, and have Dak struggle because Jerry would look so bad. And you would be in that camp of, yeah, what are you doing, Jerry? It would look foolish that you gave up a quarterback for nothing that you thought could go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I don't know why they released him now. I have no idea. He could go to CBS without the Cowboys having to release him. I don't know why Jerry decided to release him once he declared he was going to CBS.
I think because he loves Tony, he thought it was over,
Skip,
like it's a do-right rule.
And think about this, Skip.
But the do-right rule would have happened right at the end of the season. That's the Peyton Manning really do-right rule.
Yeah.
Once you start holding on to him through the free agency, then it becomes a do-right with an asterisk.
This dynamic changes because if Tony Romo were to go to a team and win a Super Bowl, that changes our perception. That changes our narrative of Tony Romo.
No, I agree.
And so he thinks that, the right situation.
Okay, but what does Shannon Sharpe say about playing versus talking? You can talk.
You get too old to play football, E-Man. You don't get too old to talk.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
100. I agree.
So you have
100%.
one of the premier jobs, one of the three premier jobs, if not it's right at the top, right?
But Skip, he has regrets because he knows he left some things.
Okay. But he has a family with a third kid on the way, and he loves his life with his kids, and all of a sudden you have a chance to segue into a great second career where you don't have to pay any dues. How many quarterbacks go straight from the NFL to Jim Nance's booth? Wow. Do you realize how?
None.
And it could be a 20-year gig for Tony Romo.
Because
but he could be not very good at it, and it could be a 2-year gig for Tony Romo.
Well, then
it's not like he's guaranteed 20 years. He's going to still have to go and be good at that. He knows he's a good NFL quarterback. He knows that. We don't know how he's going to be in the booth, and that's going to be a hard transition. And he, like you said, he can't get this moment back. He can go into TV 5 years from now.
Unless his doctors told him, you're just never going to last. Like you're so brittle now that you're just going to go get hurt, and you want to come back to see me again, and we got to go to the hospital again?
But according to Eric, if the right suitor comes along, whispering those sweet nothings, he'll be right back out there?
Yeah, right back out there. It may take a little bit. I mean, it may take
how
more
much?
I don't know how many sweet
what did you say, 80% household?
I think
nothing, just lazy little push.
Look, I think he's going to sit in that booth, and he's going to watch a bunch of average guys play quarterback around the league, and he's going to realize, I should be out there.
How much is it going to cost, though? Because I'll just say I'm just going to throw out, I'll say somewhere between $3 and $5 million he's going to be making a year. So what? You got to put the money. You can't give him $15 million. You got to give him something like $5 to $8 million and then says, okay, every game you're healthy, I'll give you $250, I'll give you give you $500,000. But I'm not giving him no $10, $15 million.
Right.
No, but at that point, you make it work.
No mercy. Sergio Garcia won the Masters yesterday after beating Justin Rose in a sudden death playoff. Garcia had a chance to win on the 18th, but missed a short putt. He eventually won on the first playoff hole for his first major. Let's take a listen to Sergio after his big win.
I was very calm, much calmer than yesterday. Much calmer that I've felt probably in any major championship on Sunday. So obviously Justin wasn't making it easy. He was playing extremely well, but I knew what I was capable of doing, and I believed that I could do it. And thanks to that, I was able to do it.
Skip, how surprised are you that Sergio finally won a major?
I was surprised. I thought yesterday, starting the back nine, that tournament doesn't start until the back nine on Sunday.
Yep.
It looked like the typical Sergio fade and fold. If you want to go to choke, you can go to choke.
Yeah.
He bogeys 10, he bogeys 11, and then he missed short and makeable putts. They're hard putts, but he missed them on 16 and 17 and 18 to go to the playoffs.
Right.
So he had his chances, and he couldn't cash. And in the end, he needed a break. I tweeted right away, he's going to need a break. And Justin Rose gave it to him right out of the chute, and that's a chute you got to hit through on 18. It's a hard shot, and he cut a little too much into the trees. So he winds up with a bogey, and it took a lot of pressure off Sergio, who's had nothing but struggles with his putter. And he babied in the birdie putt and won it going away. And I was happy for him because I was relieved for him. And that's because he had suffered enough at the hands of one Tiger Woods. 0 for 73. But Tiger, if you know the history here, left him for psychological dead back in the early 2000s. I don't know if you go back far enough to remember the 1999 PGA.
In Medina.
At Medina. I was there working at the Chicago Tribune. And here came El Nino blowing in. And he was 19 years old and about as full of himself as you could get at age 19. And on Sunday, he birdied 12 to pull within 3 of Tiger, and he threw his fist at Tiger, who was back across the water standing on the tee. And then he glared at him, tried to stare him down. And he made a run. It was a Sergio, if you will. And he had a great shot on 16, but it was a hot dog maneuver because he closes his eyes from behind the tree and kind of swings and falls away and then goes running up the fairway. I don't know if you remember this.
Yep.
And does the scissor kick jump to see where the ball is over the rise, right?
Ball's on the green.
Yeah, ball's on the green. You're cool, Sergio. We get it. But Tiger held him off that day by 1 shot. And over the next 3 years, Tiger Woods wins a total of 8 majors. So that was his second, that one, because he'd won the Masters, obviously, in 97. But all of a sudden, 3 years later, it's 8-0 in majors. And Sergio came apart psychologically.
Yes.
It got so bad. Do you remember he got the waggle yips where you're addressing the ball and you're addressing the ball and you can't pull the trigger and take the club back? That's how bad it got.
And the fans were like, hit the ball already.
Just swing. Just hit the ball. And he had to take some time off to get that out of his psyche. I assume he had to see some sort of, get some kind of counseling over it. And then putting. Oh, what a disaster he became because he couldn't do it conventionally anymore the way Tiger always has, any good putter has. He had to go cross-handed, and then he's got the claw going, and he's got all kinds of different shaped putters. Now he's got this monstrosity that he putts with. I don't know how he puts with it. It does. It does. You're right. So given all that, given all his struggles, given all his clashes with Tiger Woods over the years, he finally steps up because he can smack that golf ball. He was killing that tailor-made driver yesterday, just killing it. He was like Tiger-esque off the tee yesterday, just dominating Justin Rose psychologically off the tee. But again, obviously it was sort of fitting to me that Tiger couldn't play with his bad back and Dustin Johnson couldn't play with whatever happened to him the day before the tournament started as the world's #1 ranked golfer. The door is slightly ajar, and Sergio finally walked through it. Relief for him.
Skip, I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked because you mentioned that the back-to-back bogeys, but I think the shot on 15 where he eagle putts that. So now he's on a tie with Justin Rose.
And by the way, I didn't even talk about 12. He hits it in the azaleas left, and he has to take a drop. And that was a heck of a scrambling par. And then Justin Rose couldn't cash in. He should have made a birdie. It could have been a 2-shot swing, and it's even going up to 15.
And here's the thing. Okay, now Sergio makes that eagle on 15. So now he's in a tie. Justin Rose said, hold on, bro. I'm not going anywhere. He birdied 16. Now, on 17, I tweeted that when it happened, he missed
You were tweeting about golf?
I tweeted. I was like, Justin Rose blinked.
Wow.
And now all of a sudden they're even going to 18. Whew. Okay. Both guys hit the ball in the fairway. Justin Rose gets a break. It hits the lip and goes about, 12 feet from the cup?
It's like meant to be.
Yes.
Yes.
And now Sergio's like, this is where Sergio normally would come apart.
He would fall.
He would fly the ball. He would fly the ball in those big old Georgia pines.
I completely
And it's
agree.
over.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
He stuck it 8 feet inside of the. And I'm like, okay, well, Sergio about to do this thing.
Yep.
But I'm thinking to myself, this is the Sergio that's been Sergio. He's going to miss this. I'm saying this to myself, Skip. Lo and behold, Skip, that ball was never on line. I don't know what he saw. Maybe he thought it was going to be, inside right. But Skip, that ball wasn't.
He said he hit it in his practice rounds again and again and again, and it broke slightly left. I don't look like a complete misread to me.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And so when he missed that, I was like, this is the Sergio that had the nerves and the poise he could never display. Because anytime he got an opportunity to stare down Tiger, he stared down anyone else in the major, he would always blink first.
He would.
And I was like, oh, there he goes again. And I'm saying to myself, they go back to 18.
Yep.
I believe if Justin Rose hits that ball in the fairway, we have a different outcome.
Yep.
The pressure's off.
Yep.
When Justin Rose hit that ball in those pine needles,
yep.
Sergio just stepped up there full of confidence. He knew, if I just put this in the fairway, because I know at worst case scenario, he's about to make bogey. So I can make par and win this tournament.
Yep.
Skip, we're hoping to see this Sergio 10, 15 years earlier. Because he was supposed to be the rival of Tiger. But Tiger never had a rival. Tiger was like Serena. All these champions, but Serena had no rival.
No. The only one who did stand up in the end to Tiger was Phil Mickelson. He did, even head-to-head. But he held his own. He's not Tiger.
Yep,
but if he had a rival, it was Phil.
But you think about it. Tiger has double the majors and double the tour wins.
It's not even close.
So, I mean, Tiger's rival was himself.
No
because
doubt.
he was beating Phil. He was beating Ernie Els. He was beating VJ.
Yep.
He was crushing Sergio. And we just wanted to see this Sergio that we saw yesterday to have the nerve and the poise to stand up on a major and look eye to eye with someone and say, you know what? Not today. I'm not going away.
Yep.
Because for the longest time, we would always see Sergio blink.
I agree.
But
Maybe
Skip,
it helped. He and Justin Rose are very close. Their families are close because they're Ryder Cup teammates for years and years. So maybe that gave him a little bit of a comfort zone. If he was eye to eye with the Tiger that we used to know, I'm not.
But let me ask you a question, Skip. If Justin Rose doesn't bogey that 17, do you think Sergio hits a birdie to tie it, send it into a playoff?
I would doubt it. I would doubt it.
Because a lot of pressure was off him.
Yeah. And this may be unfair, but I'm going to bring up one last point, if you will suffer me this, because I think it's important, but it might be unfair on this day that Sergio finally broke through and won one in his 74th try in a major. But I can't, it's stuck in my craw that in 2013, the rivalry with Tiger off the course got so bitter on Sergio's part.
Yes.
You know this one?
Yes.
They were tied at the Players' Championship, which is like the 5th major. So they're tied. He's going to 17, which is that classic
island. Yep.
You know, quadruple bogey, double bogey on 18, where more water is involved. And Sergio goes from tied with Tiger to tied for 8th. And Tiger won the golf tournament, and they had an incident that they disagreed on Saturday, the previous day, and it went back and forth. So a couple of weeks later, Sergio's at the European Players Dinner, and some of the writers ask him, well, are you going to try to talk it out with Tiger when you see him at the U.S. Open? And Sergio said, yeah, we'll have him round every night. We'll serve him fried chicken. Well, it's just, that's like the hottest button you can say. It's about as racist to me as you can get.
Absolutely.
Short of using that word.
Yes.
And he apologized profusely twice for it, said it was just crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. I was completely out of place. But that's how bitter he got toward Tiger, because Tiger had just stepped on him so many times, and that's what came out.
Skip, you wanted a rivalry. You wanted a Jack and Arnold, or a Jack and Chi-Chi, or Tom Watson.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted.
Sure.
Gary Player. That's what you wanted to see. But Tiger was so dominating, Skip. Think about this. He was so dominating that he would leave the tournament, a major, and they would say, we got to Tiger-proof it. We got to fix it because he's hitting the ball so high, he's hitting it so far that he's winning by 12, he's winning by 15.
You're right.
By strokes we've never seen before. And
we were doing debates on television. Tiger or the field? Really? Tiger or the field?
Or 149 other golfers.
Really? Wow. And a lot of times it was Tiger.
I'll take Tiger.
Yeah.
Skip, after those comments that Sergio made, I don't see how they were ever going to be friends. Because they were not only friends, they weren't friendly.
No, they were
but
not.
after those comments,
That's
Tiger
a bridge burner, right?
Yeah, Tiger like, I'm done with you.
Well, Tiger did tweet congrats to him yesterday.
Did he?
Congrats
Oh, I
to
didn't know
Sergio
that.
Garcia. Well earned.
Interesting. Well, maybe he's not forgotten, but forgiven.
Tiger like, Justin Rose, how could you let that joker
That
win?
happened. Well, Sergio won his Masters in the 19th try. That's the longest any winner has waited before their first win, but congrats to Sergio.
No mercy.
Last week, Eli Manning held a 2-day camp at Duke University for Giants quarterbacks and receivers. Odell Beckham Jr. did not attend because he needed to have oral surgery. Gary Myers of the New York Daily News wrote that it wasn't the best look for Odell to go to Drake's European tour and attend the College Basketball National Championship last week, but not attend Eli's camp. Shannon, is this a big deal or no big deal?
Well, it's a deal that strikes me that a player is not very team-oriented. And trust me, Skip, as someone that's had dental surgery, I know when your mouth is really bothering you, you're not going to Europe and you're not going to the NCAAs, because I've been known to call the dentist late at night and say, you got to fix this. Eli Manning does this in the offseason. Peyton Manning used to do this all the time.
Yep.
Tom Brady will do this on occasion. Drew Brees will do this on occasion. But here's the one thing that those guys calling their players, Odell Beckham has had so much success without team success. He really doesn't need to win because he's already been anointed the greatest receiver to ever play. So he doesn't need to win.
That's true.
All the one-handed catching. In the pregame, Skip, we see him with the different shoes, the Batman, the Superman, all the theme shoes, and he's out there catching sometimes with no shirt on, and he's making acrobatic catches that you can only dream of making. That's his mantra. So him winning doesn't correlate, because guess what? I'm still going to be the darling of Madison Avenue. It strikes me as odd. I just want to know, and I'm not saying that he won't eventually go down as one of the greats, but it's hard for me to believe that a guy can reach his maximum potential traveling around Europe with Drake on a concert. It strikes me as odd that a guy thinks he can be all-time great, show him up at the Final Four. Now, I know that's the weekend, Skip, and that's his time. But Brandon Marshall is new to the team. Eli wants to get the timing before you have to go doing mini camps, before you have to start doing all the other stuff. So if you had to get oral surgery, if your mouth was hurting that bad, you probably wouldn't have went on that European tour with Drake.
Or to the Final Four.
You probably would have whisked those two things. But I said this before, because his success is tied to individual and what he can do on the football field. Normally, only quarterbacks, Skip, do wins and losses matter. Everybody else, and that's what he knows this now. He's like, I became a household name. Even with the catch, is what people don't realize, Skip, with the catch. They lost that game.
I do. I think I realize it because it was to my Cowboys.
But how many times have you seen it? Over and over and over again. But now he's like, what do I need team success for? I can accomplish what I need without you.
Interesting. So help me out with this before I answer Joy's question. How did Odell, who, if memory serves, went to LSU and he's from New Orleans, how did he become a North Carolina fan? Well, let's see. Shannon Sharpe became a North Carolina fan growing up in Georgia. I don't know.
Skip.
Is it another bandwagon jumper? Is it another Shannon Sharpe becomes a LeBron
Skip.
fan? Or I don't know.
I was a Tar Heel fan before Odell was even born.
Okay. So how did Odell get to be a Tar Heel fan? I don't know. There has to be a reasonable, logical explanation.
First of all, Skip, he's Odell Beckham. When he shows up at an event, the cameras are going to find him. Now, if he backstage and he's shooting the breeze with the players, they're like he's a Tar Heel fan. Maybe he's not, but he just happens to be. And look, these are college athletes. Odell Beckham is a superstar in the NFL. You don't think guys are excited to see Odell? Like, Odell Beckham came to see me play tonight.
Sure.
That's a big deal.
Oh, I agree. Okay. So I preface my remarks by saying I do like Odell personally. I don't love him professionally. And I'm hoping this is more good news for my Dallas Cowboys. We got Romo out of the way, at least for the time being. We're going to discuss that pretty soon. Maybe, maybe not. And now Odell is still doesn't get it Odell. Because in the end, just don't get it. We both agreed that on paper right now, the New York Football Giants are the best team in the NFC. Didn't we both agree on that the other day?
Yes.
Okay? I'm willing to concede that. And it's painful to concede that because that team beat my team twice by hook or crook, but that's a whole nother issue. They made a couple plays, whatever. But in the end, if everybody goes to Duke for 4 workouts in 2 days, everybody goes. There are so many receivers and running backs on hand that Eli had to take Josh Johnson, the backup quarterback, to share throws with him so that he wouldn't have dead or tired arm when they go to OTAs.
Correct.
Okay? Because he is an aging, getting up there quarterback.
Right.
So how can Odell miss that session? Because that's a bonding. You know this, but you probably would have called for this session.
Yes.
You would have been the organizer.
Yes.
You would have been the tour guide.
Yep.
And the last time Odell was a tour guide for anything, it was to a yacht
Miami.
in South Beach
With
off
Tim's.
a game on Sunday in Washington with a game looming on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field the following Sunday. And Odell came up small, as did a couple of the other receivers he took with him, little Sterling Shepard.
Victor Cruz, I believe that cost Victor Cruz his job.
It may have. So, again, that's the guy you're dealing with, and it just gives me a little hope for next year that it's just like Antonio Brown. We didn't get to this topic today, but Mean Joe Green, who I know him and I have nothing but great respect for him, he once again criticized Antonio because he's all about the brand over the Steelers. And you grew up a Steelers fan, so you can appreciate that once upon a time, all those Steelers stalwarts, all those Hall of Famers, they were only about the Steelers, man. Yeah. And they were invincible because of their unity and their pride in that, the colors that they wore and the way they played defense in those days, or even played offense in those days.
You know what, Skip? It used to upset me, but now I'm immune to it because this is the new NFL. It's all about branding.
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't have a TB12 hat until he won Super Bowl. Tom Brady wasn't pitching underwear and mattresses until he won his 4th Super Bowl. His first 3 Super Bowls, Tom Brady was not a brand. You didn't see no TB12. You didn't see him pitching anything. These guys come into the league because what has happened is that they don't need us. They don't need the media. They got Instagram. They got Snapchat. So I can have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million Instagram followers, and if I want to put something out there, I can do that. I can circumvent all the networks. I don't need you.
Yep.
All I'm saying is, Odell, look, it's your off time. Sure, you have the right to do what you want to do, but take it from a guy that played a long time in the National Football League. When your quarterback and your teammates are having something that's going to benefit the overall team, I think you should be an active participant.
Well, I do too, and I'm going to mention this one more time, but I told you before that Ernestine sometimes and we walk to the mall right near where we live in Century City here. There's a big Bloomingdale's there, and I was shocked the first time we walked in. Odell Beckham has an entire section
merchandise
of men's clothing. Is his stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? You want to talk about a brand? That's a brand. If you can get it in Bloomingdale's, that's pretty great.
Think about this, Skip. A guy that's went to 1 playoffs and hadn't won a playoff game. And he has a brand.
Wow.
Tom Brady doesn't even have clothing. Tom Brady got 5 Super Bowls. Tom Brady ain't got nothing in Bloomingdale's. He ain't got nothing in Neiman Markup. I mean, Neiman Marcus, you know what I'm saying, Joe.
No, it's supposed to be needless markup.
Yeah, but
it's still a great story.
It is. But here's the thing, though, Skip. As long as Odell see that there's a path to what he can accomplish without team success, he will always travel down that road. And that's what he's learned early on. So right now for him, it doesn't benefit him. Because guess what, Skip? They're still going to have that stuff in Bloomingdale's.
They are.
Whether he wins or lose a playoff game. And so long as he has that in his back pocket, what's the incentive for him to go to Duke? Take time out of his busy schedule. I mean, personally, wouldn't you rather be on tour with Drake?
Sure.
You know,
or at the Final Four.
I mean,
with your Tar Heels, right?
Yeah, I'd like to be, Sade have a concert, or John Legend, maybe Maxwell. I'd like to see Maxwell. Jill Scott, long walk around the park. I'm old school like that, Skip. I ain't into that hip hop, that bang, all that. No, my ears are bad. My ears are bad. I need something to slow it down, Skip. Slow it down. I'm slow, easy. Sunday morning.
Yep.
Commodores. I'm old
school
like that. You listen to
slow jams before games?
Yeah, I had to.
My man John Legend once wrote a song just for me. That's a true story. On the old show.
You know what?
It's called Let It Go, and it was about Tebow. It was. Let it go. Just let it go.
You know what, John? All of a sudden, I'm not a fan anymore. You write songs about Tebow.
That's not nice.
I'm done. I'm out on you, John Legend.
Tebow's doing pretty good. We'll get to that.
Stop it, Joy.
We don't talk about that.
You tried to sneak that in. You think you slick, Joy.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Joy Taylor. Tune in Tuesday.
Fox Sports, one of one.